Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
One of the natural periods into which the year is divided by the equinoxes and solstices are atmospheric conditions. The regular sequence of the seasons. Make more temperate, acceptable, or suitable by adding something else. Lend flavor to. Make fit. This trip will season even the hardiest traveler. A period of the year marked by special events or activities in some field. He celebrated his 10th season with the ballet company. A recurrent time marked by major holidays. It was the Christmas season. One of the natural periods into which the year is divided by the equinoxes and solstices are atmospheric conditions. Make less strong or intense, soften. Not extreme. A moderate penalty. A person who takes a position in the political center. Make more temperate, acceptable, or suitable by adding something else. Make less severe or harsh. He moderated his tone when the students burst out in tears. Lessen the intensity of. Temper. Hold in restraint. Hold or keep within limits. Moderate your alcohol intake. Preside over. John moderated the discussion. Marked by avoidance of extravagance or extremes. Moderate in his demands. Being within reasonable or average limits, not excessive or extreme. Moderate prices. Make less fast or intense. Moderate your speed. Make more temperate, acceptable, or suitable by adding something else. Cause to be more favorably inclined. Gain the goodwill of. She managed to mollify the angry customer. Make less rigid or softer. A sudden outburst of anger. His temper sparked like damp firewood. Make more temperate, acceptable, or suitable by adding something else. She tempered her criticism. The elasticity and hardness of a metal object, its ability to absorb considerable energy before cracking. Harden by reheating and cooling in oil. Temper steel. Change by restraining or moderating. A disposition to exhibit uncontrolled anger. His temper was well known to all his employees. A characteristic, habitual or relatively temporary, state of feeling. Whether he praised or cursed me depended on his temper at the time. Bring to a desired consistency, texture, or hardness by a process of gradually heating and cooling. Temper glass. Adjust the pitch, of pianos. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Harden by reheating and cooling in oil. Make fit. Make hard or harder. The cold hardened the butter. Become hard or harder. The wax hardened. Cause to accept or become hardened to, habituate. An amount of time. Hasten the period of time of his recovery. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A unit of geological time during which a system of rocks formed. Ganoid fishes swarmed during the earlier geological periods. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. In England they call a period a stop. Ice hockey, one of 3 divisions into which play is divided in hockey games. The end or completion of something. Death put a period to his endeavors. The interval taken to complete one cycle of a regularly repeating phenomenon. Lessen in force or effect. Reduce the level or intensity or size or scope of. Destroy property or hinder normal operations. Become weaker. The prisoner's resistance weakened after 7 days. Lessen the strength of. The fever weakened his body. Make tough or tougher. This experience will toughen her. Gather, as of natural products. Harvest the grapes. The yield from plants in a single growing season. The gathering of a ripened crop. The season for gathering crops. Remove from a culture or a living or dead body, as for the purposes of transplantation. Should one harvest organs from dead people for transplants? The consequence of an effort or activity. They gathered a harvest of examples. The warmest season of the year. In the northern hemisphere it extends from the summer solstice to the autumnal equinox. The season of growth. The elasticity of something that can be stretched and returns to its original length. A light, self-propelled movement upwards or forwards. Spring back. Spring away from an impact. A natural flow of groundwater. Develop into a distinctive entity. Move forward by leaps and bounds. The season of growth. The emerging buds were a sure sign of spring. A metal elastic device that returns to its shape or position when pushed or pulled or pressed. The spring was broken. A point at which water issues forth. Develop suddenly. Produce or disclose suddenly or unexpectedly. One of the 2 seasons in tropical climates. The season for cutting and drying and storing grass as fodder. The season for cutting and drying and storing grass as fodder. The harvesting of hay. Spend the winter. We wintered on the Riviera. The coldest season of the year. In the northern hemisphere it extends from the winter solstice to the vernal equinox. The coldest season of the year. In the northern hemisphere it extends from the winter solstice to the vernal equinox. The season for gathering crops. The warmest season of the year. In the northern hemisphere it extends from the summer solstice to the autumnal equinox. They spent a lazy summer at the shore. Spend the summer. We summered in Kashmir. The period of finest development, happiness, or beauty. The golden summer of his life. Move downward and lower, but not necessarily all the way. The barometer is falling. The act of surrendering, usually under agreed conditions. Come into the possession of. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Fall from clouds. Rain, snow and sleet were falling. Lose an upright position suddenly. A sudden decline in strength or number or importance. The fall of the House of Habsburg. Fall or flow in a certain way. Fall to somebody by assignment or lot. A sudden sharp decrease in some quantity. When that became known, the price of their stock went into free fall. A free and rapid descent by the force of gravity. Touch or seem as if touching visually or audibly. Decrease in size, extent, or range. Come as if by falling. A downward slope or bend. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. In the fall of 1973. The time of day immediately following sunset. They finished before the fall of night. A sudden drop from an upright position. Come under, be classified or included. Fall into a category. Be inherited by. A lapse into sin. A loss of innocence or of chastity. A fall from virtue. A movement downward. The rise and fall of the tides. Assume a disappointed or sad expression. Be born, used chiefly of lambs. Be captured. Be cast down. Be due. Payments fall on the first of the month. Begin vigorously. Come out. Issue. Descend in free fall under the influence of gravity. Die, as in battle or in a hunt. Several deer have fallen to the same gun. Drop oneself to a lower or less erect position. Go as if by falling. Lose office or power. Lose one's chastity. A fallen woman. Move in a specified direction. The line of men fall forward. Occur at a specified time or place. Christmas falls on a Monday this year. Pass suddenly and passively into a state of body or mind. Fall into a trap. Slope downward. The hills around here fall towards the ocean. Suffer defeat, failure, or ruin. We must stand or fall. The lapse of mankind into sinfulness because of the sin of Adam and Eve. To be given by assignment or distribution. To be given by right or inheritance. Yield to temptation or sin. One of the two seasons in tropical climates. The season when the leaves fall from the trees. Make more interesting or flavorful. Add herbs or spices to. Give a neat appearance to. East Indian cookery. A pungent dish of vegetables or meats flavored with curry powder and usually eaten with rice. Season with a mixture of spices, typical of Indian cooking. Treat by incorporating fat. Curry tanned leather. Impregnate with resin to give a special flavor to. Greek wines are often resonated. The taste experience when common salt is taken into the mouth. Negotiations between the United States and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics opened in 1969 in Helsinki, designed to limit both countries' stock of nuclear weapons. White crystalline form of especially sodium chloride used to season and preserve food. A compound formed by replacing hydrogen in an acid by a metal, or a radical that acts like a metal. Add salt to. Add zest or liveliness to. She salts her lectures with jokes. Of speech, painful or bitter. Salt scorn. Preserve with salt. People used to salt meats on ships. Sprinkle as if with salt. The rebels had salted the fields with mines and traps.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.